night where the biggest fight was to find consistency. The third period for the Rangers was once again consistently friendly. Chris Kreider's power play goal, the difference in a 4-3 win over the Red Wings in Detroit. Welcome inside our Delta MSG studios alongside Steve Valiquette. I'm John Giannone. 52 wins now for the Rangers, 25 of them on the road, 26 times they've come from behind to win. What more platitudes can you give to a team that now has 108 points to lead the league?
There's a lot to be happy about, but know this, that game meant a lot to Detroit. And for the most part, the Rangers shut them down. When it was points of the game that mattered, like the start of the first period, I felt like they defended such a tight game that it almost made Detroit try and go out of what their identity was for this one. And when you look at the impact of the bottom six forwards, there isn't anything better than when you're playing at the bottom of the lineup. I'm an expert.
Yes, you are.
Knowing what your role is. When you have a clearly defined role, you can buy into it. You're not trying to chase something that you're not because you know what's expected of you. And when you deliver, John, you feel like you really had a big impact in the overall game. But more importantly, you matter to the team. And we know from Stefan Matteau's goal to any big one over the years in the Stanley Cup playoffs, it typically comes from a bottom six guy. So don't be surprised when it's a Cooley or a Kakko or a VZ or a Gaudreau in the postseason when it matters, because you can tell they love playing for the Rangers in this role.
Right.
Nobody's trying to take Zibanejad's job or Panarin's, and that's not what you want. The bad teams struggle with that. The third and fourth liners think they should be front line and playing on the power play, and there's no confusion or conflict with the guys.
Yeah, the fourth line for the Rangers was first rate tonight. They had 6 points. We're going to talk all about it, but we have to start where the difference was made, and it came in the final 10 minutes or so of a third period in which it was 3-3. Rangers drew a penalty, got on the power play, and a guy who was fairly quiet for most of the game made the most noise when it mattered most, and that was Chris Kreider.
One of the goals that we've talked about a lot this year is the self-chip or the self-deflection rebound. So Kreider's pretty covered here, and he wants to bounce the puck off the goalie's pads, get it back himself because it's a better scoring chance. And this is hard for a lot of people to realize because you think the guys are always shoot to score. But watch how the goalie is forced to stretch because he knows it's coming. There's a book on the Rangers. They know this seam. And we all know and have seen it many times that can be a Kreider deflection goal, but this is a punch off the goalie's pad. With all of the momentum of Lyon going the other way, Kreider's able to score. And one of the bigger points of our pregame conversation was creating those deflections, screens, net front, we called it goal mouth. Well, the one thing we left out, the context there, which is that is goal number 37 for Kreider. The only player that has more scoring chances from that position in the NHL is Zach Hyman. He's got 52 goals.
Right.
You know, that's where goals are scored.
Yeah.
And it's talk about know your role and where you need to be. Kreider proved it again tonight.
Especially on the power play. So in a season of superlatives for Chris Kreider, yet another one with that goal, because now he is tied with the legendary Rod Gilbert. 108 power play goals for each. And the only player in the history of the New York Rangers with more power play goals than Chris Kreider is Camille Henry. Kreider just 8 behind Henry, and he'll probably get there early next season. And that was the difference tonight in a 4-3 win. But as we said, the difference makers were the fourth liners. That's Barclay Goodrow on the left, Johnny Brodzinski in the middle, and Jimmy Vesey on the right. Together, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. We're going to put their night inside the film room powered by CDW. Steve's going to break down exactly why they were so efficient.
Yeah, I thought, look, you're going to win a face-off that's really a big point of the game because of the time and the score of the game and the fact that you're winding down in the first period and you're out there. And that's the feedback you get from the coaches. It's, we want you guys out there, you matter. And guess what? They're full of adrenaline and they're playing with a lot of passion at this point. And I think it goes right to the confidence of the player. Gaudreau is now alone in front off a broken play. The goalie's down, and he just finds a way to outmuscle and outman the Detroit Red Wings that have him surrounded. And then I would say this is one of the best executed off the rush plays from a bottom six in the NHL. Why? Because of the ability to get the puck to the net with a plan. It's not just a throw, and it's not a shot at the net that has the risk of going all the way around and feeding the offense the other way. Because of the center lane drive, there's a breakdown here from Detroit, not able to cover, but it's a pass off the far pad with the backside, Gaudreau in this case driving. It's so hard to defend against. Why? Because the goalie's setting up to make his first save, but you could see that Veezy's stick was going there, and there was almost a deflection, and he has to honor that. The goalie has to honor that, so he gets down into a butterfly, and imagine you're just using the goalie's pads as a rebound device. But that's a goal by design. Make no mistake, you heard Gaudreau say it, he said it to you. Mm-hmm. That's a pass-off pad, and it took three. You know, sometimes you say it takes at least two, but in that case, it was three.
Yeah, really effective night for all three of them. They are our Jersey Mike's sub-above players. Barclay Goodrow with 2 goals, his third career 2-goal game, his first in 2.5 years. For Johnny Brodzinski, 2 assists on the night, his first assists in 18 games. And for Jimmy Veezy, a pair of assists as well, his first points in the last 10 games. Let's hear from number 22, Johnny Brodzinski, in the victorious dressing room in Detroit.
What was it like seeing Barclay have the night he did tonight?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's just contributes to a lot of things. It's good defensive play by our line, and then just getting pucks down there and working them all night. I thought it was it's a well-rounded game by everybody.
What worked for that combo?
Just hard work, getting pucks towards the net. I think were the biggest things. Just the one was just tried to sift it into Jim. Just went off the pad. He's just driving back door. So just small little details that we did well tonight.
Yeah, a lot of little things that meant a lot for that fourth line. And again, this was a night where Matt Rempe did not play, so that threesome steps in and gets 6 points. Maybe one of the questions that will have to be answered over the next 5 games before the season ends. Yeah. Who's going to comprise that fourth line?
All right, so I think the most physical games of a playoff series are games 1 and 3. And that's when you want to have Rempe in the lineup. Why? Because he's going to set the tone. He's going to drag everybody into the fight. And there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of nervous energy, and he'll be able to cool that down or hype it up. But I think it's important that when you start the series, whether it's in your building, in this case for the first round it will be, but it'll be first game of the series for the opponent in their building in game 3. I'd like to see Matt Rempe in both of those games.
Interesting. Yeah, another guy who's going to make his playoff debut is Will Cooley, and he'll definitely play in game 1, and we know where he'll be. It's on the third line left wing because that's where he's been for most of the season, and he's been really effective at it. And tonight, he opened the scoring 6 minutes into the game, but it wasn't the only thing he did well, Steve.
Did everything well. Yeah. This guy impresses me because leading the team in checks, not checks for what is his? It's
hits,
rookies.
All rookies
all
and
rookies,
hits,
but not
top 10 in the league.
Top 10 in the league, because of the way that he skates. And I feel like you could say he's a guy that's always going to play inside. He's always going to stay net front. He's not afraid to eat a puck, and he checks with his legs. He gets there. He's a great skater, and the Rangers have done a terrific job of bringing him along. He's got 13 goals on the year, and he can easily track with the way he's playing towards 20 next season. Draws a penalty here. That was a brutal shot from behind that he took, but he gets right back up and plays. And you saw his very first shot of the game. He only, he's inches away from scoring 5-hole. He comes right back on his second shot of the game and stings Lyon 5-hole. He's a player. He's an all-round player. And, his development path, drafted, developed through Hartford, that's an A-plus job with him.
Gets his 13th goal, gets 3 hits credited to his ledger in 12 minutes and 45 seconds of ice time. All in all, a successful night for Cooley and the Rangers. 4-3 the final in Detroit.